towards an eminent institution by the NAC on behalf of PMI's Pearl Speech chapter. And before I proceed, ladies and gentlemen, honorary members of the board of PMI.ACP and of NAC, let me wish you all a very good morning, afternoon, and evening session. This session, which is about the introduction to project cost management, is essentially going to be a 101, or in other words, the basics. We will not be covering the complete aspect of project management in this session. I'm sure you're all aware of this. For those of us who have actually completed their project management professional or the PMP certification, you will know that project cost management is a significant chapter in project management, and it will need in the minimum 2 to 2.5 hours to cover at least 35 to 40% of the chapter. In 1 hour's time, I wanted to set an expectation that we will cover the basics, the quintessence, the key aspects of project management, with which I'm sure you all as construction experts will be able to lay a very strong and a sturdy foundation on. With this in thought in mind, I would like to introduce myself, and these are some of the certifications that I possess. And I'm actually working for one of the big 4 companies. And today's session will be centered around what we will be talking about: project costing. And this is the agenda. What is project costing? What are the types of project costing? What are the processes or steps involved in project costing? And what is the significance of project costing? Why do we need to talk about project costing every time? In what comparison are we going to relate this to? Primary aspect is going to be cost versus time. We are going to talk about the cost time aspects of the entire session, and we will be talking about the overall aspect of what we call as EVA or EVM, which is nothing but earned value analysis. Okay. I now have a request from my friends here. Now that we are all back from our holidays, do you want me to talk about project costing from my perspective, or do you want me to talk about project costing from your NAC's education perspective? Please type this in the chat window. Is this expectation acceptable, my friends? Vishnu and friends? Okay, fine. So thank you so much. We will be talking about it from having a minimum understanding and how do we take it further with whatever little understanding that we have to scale it to a larger perspective. Okay. First, let's visit some key definitions. Let us understand what is a project. A project is a temporary endeavor, temporary activity, which has been specifically undertaken to create a unique service, offering, transition, or a product or an outcome. Let me repeat. This is the definition of the Project Management Institute. Per the PMBOK and the Project Management Institute, a project is any temporary endeavor which has been specifically undertaken to create a unique service, transition, offering, or a product. What is the main takeaway? All projects are temporary. There is nothing called as a permanent project. So if you look at it from the finest perspective, the human life by itself is a project, but we will not be covering the human life project in this session. This is about mortal project management. We'll be talking about supernatural project management in a different session. There are other video presentations which I given. You may want to check about it. One I have given in PMI.ACP itself. Please refer to that post this session. So let's come back to this project costing. Essentially, any temporary endeavor undertaken to create a unique service, offering, transition, or a product is called as a project. And a project is always temporary. It has a definite start date. It has a definite end date. Okay. Now, let us focus all our energies and thoughts onto one of what we call as a knowledge area. What we call as a knowledge area is one of the types of the sections where we need to have a deep and a clear understanding of how projects are executed. If you look at it from the closer perspective, scope is one knowledge area, scheduling is one knowledge area, costing is one knowledge area, quality is one knowledge area. Today, all our energies, thoughts, and directions will be focused only on what is cost, project costing. Fine. Wow. Now let us try to understand what is cost. Projects are temporary. Very nice to hear. But projects do not thrive on sunlight. Projects do not thrive on photosynthesis. Projects thrive on funding. We need money to run the show. And nothing in this world is for charity. There's nothing called as free lunch, right? You have paid for it either sometime before or you're going to pay for it now. So the amount of fund which is spent in the execution of a project activity is what is called as a cost. For simplicity in understanding, let us try to narrow down to two types of costs. Okay, what are the two types of costs? One is a direct cost. What is a direct cost here? You can see that straight. There is no need for an explanation. When you're trying to construct, let us say a room, what is the cost of cement? What's the cost of a bag of sand? What's the cost of mortar, gravel, any other consumable which is actually used in the construction of that room or the premises is what you call as a direct cost. Now, is that all an end to what is project costing? There is something called as a supplementary cost or an add-on cost. To take care of the direct costs, we need to ensure that there are other costs which are added to the whole project costing process. That is what you call as an indirect cost or a supplementary cost. Okay. Now, during the construction process, we have bought cement, sand, mortar, gravel, bricks, etc. Will it be magic if these equipment construct by themselves? Please let me know. Will it be magic if these equipments construct by themselves, or do we need some kind of human intervention in doing the work? Please let me know. You need human intervention, right?
You need some kind of human intervention, sir.
Perfect. Perfect. That's why I was telling you, projects do not thrive on sunlight. Unless and otherwise you are building a solar panel, for which also you need huge costs. The initial cost of investment of a solar panel is extremely high. You all agree with me? Yes, no, maybe?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Exactly. Exactly. Vishnuji, all of are we all? You are also in agreement with this, right?
Yes.
The cost involved in the transit of materials. Have you all heard of this terminology called logistics? Logistics is one of the key areas where significant level of cost is involved. Rail, roads, airlines, ships, name the element which is used for transit of materials that involves significant cost, and that is called as an indirect cost or a supplementary cost. So what are the two types of costs? Direct cost, one which is seen through and through without any kind of parental explanation to know what kind of activity is being done. What is the indirect cost? The cost which is going to add to your main cost, which is called as a supplementary cost. Okay. Now, to understand the concept of baseline, we are all from construction engineering and academy, right? We all have something called as internal assessment and external assessment, right? Are you all in agreement? Internal assessment, external assessment?
Yes, there are.
Yes, we agree, sir. Yes, we agree, sir.
Okay. Is my pace convenient to you all, or am I too fast?
No, sir. You can proceed with this pace.
No, sir. It's okay, sir.
Okay, fantastic. Thank you so much for your feedback. How much marks are actually apportioned for your internal assessment? What is the maximum marking?
40%.
40%?
Yes.
For the external assessment?
60%.
60%. Excellent. What is the minimum mark which you need to score in an internal assessment for the scale of 40%?
20%.
20%? Okay. Now, what is the minimum you need to score for the external assessment?
30%.
30%. Okay. Aggregate the two, how much of pass mark you need to have to say that a candidate has passed the examination?
Half.
How much?
50%.
50%.
50%? 50%?
Yes, 50%.
Agreed? No changes? You will not
No.
change these numbers, right?
Yes.
No, you won't change these numbers, right?
No.
Sure?
Yes.
Yes.
These numbers are what you call as baselines. Who decides these numbers?
JNTU.
JNTU,
University.
the management, the leadership of any organization. They have thorough experience in understanding how the metrics for any measurement is actually being built in an organization. We talk about a pass percentage as 20% for the internal assessment and 30% for the external assessment. In other words, we need to have an aggregate of 20% plus 30%, which is 50% to say that a candidate has just passed. This 20% for internal assessment and 30% of external assessment is what you call as a baseline. These are values which the executive leadership or the board of directors or the forming up of numbers, which is also called as key performance indicators, KPIs. These numbers do not change unless and otherwise there is a very, very strong rational or decision or a need. Does somebody alter the number of 20%, say 15%, just at the free will? Have you ever heard of anybody changing the pass mark from 20% to 15% for internals?
No, sir. No.
And
No.
for the external assessment from 30% to 20% just for the case of it?
No.
Whoever it is, these numbers are never altered. The takeaway is, yes, sorry, did you ask me a question? Okay, fine. The takeaway is pretty simple. These numbers, which are decided by the leadership of any organization, with which you base or you see through the outcomes of the project, whether the project is a success, part success, or it is to be written off, bad debt, failure, whatever you call it, it is called as a baseline. Now, let us say any organization for that matter, let us say L&T, I'm giving you an example. L&T's prime interest is in construction, right? Now, L&T also has a software division to take care of the interests of the construction. Okay. L&T also has a healthcare unit to take care of the healthcare needs of the employees. Now, L&T also has an insurance to take care of its employees' insurance needs, right? If you look at it from the broad banner called L&T, prime organization is L&T, under which you have various segregated or differentiated units called as engineering and construction, insurance, which can be building insurance or other transport insurance or whatever the insurance protocol is, then healthcare for its employees, then the IT or the software division. Are the profits and losses of each and every division the same or are they different?
Different.
You are sure they are all different, right?
Yes, sir.
If I argue with you saying that they're all the same, will you agree?
No.
Will you agree if I just say, no, the profit and loss of L&T construction is going to be the same as the profit and loss of L&T software division? Is it going to be the same? Will you agree?
No, sir. It should be different.
They are different, right? Good.
Yes.
That is how organizations are also
Depends
created.
on the
Yes. See, NAC, let us say I'm talking about a university. University will have different segregations of education, computer science and engineering, construction or civil engineering, biomedical engineering, mechanical engineering, then other electrical and electronics engineering, electronics and communication engineering. Now, the high ranking, do you mean to say the high ranking of candidates is going to be the same across all these engineering divisions or will they be different?
basically there are no other divisions in NAC.
Let us say IT, civil engineering, mechanical engineering, computer science engineering, biomedical engineering is the highest mark which any candidate studying in their respective branches. Are they going to be same across all the engineering divisions or will there be a difference?
Difference.
There will be a difference, right? You all agree with me?
Yes.
How many of you
Yes.
say yes and how many of you say there is no difference?
No, there will be a difference.
There will be a difference, right? But however, let us bear in mind the internal assessment mark fixture will be 20% for the internal assessment and 30% for the external assessment. You all agree with me? Will that change across any branch of education you study? 20% or 30% will it never change for that matter?
No, that will not change.
That will never change, right? Excellent. You are all in agreement with this number?
Yes, yes.
Yes, good. Do you know what this 20% and 30% is called as from a measurement perspective? Have you heard of this term OLBM?
No, sir.
No, no, sir.
Is this something new or have you read this number somewhere? Have you heard of this term OLBM?
No, sir.
This is called as an organizational level benchmarking number. This is fixed. From an organization level, pass mark for internal assessment has to be 20. That is non-negotiable. External assessment has to be 30. This is non-negotiable. But this number, whether it is going to be 18, 19, 25, 30 on 30, or 40, 60 on 60, or 75, or whatever it is subject to the capacity of the candidates and how they are prepared or what the situation was on the day they write the examination, right? Now, there is going to be a variation in that number. You have all agreed with me, right? Do you know what that number is called?
No, sir.
It's what is called as a practice level benchmarking number. It is called as the PLBM. The PLBM has variations. When your organization is measuring values, the OLBM is going to be set as a standard. OLBM has become a standard. What do you mean by a standard? It is a referendum. It is a reference value with which you're going to check other numbers. See, candidate A has secured 21. Has he cleared the internal assessment? 21
Yes,
marks
sir.
he has secured.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, yes.
Candidate B has secured 20 marks. Has he cleared the internal assessment?
Yes, yes.
Candidate C has secured 18 marks. Has he cleared the internal assessment?
No, sir.
Yes.
No. So you understand, this is going to vary. Your OLBM is going to be that 20% and 30%. Your practice level benchmark is something that is going to vary. Right? Now, is this concept clear, my friends, before we proceed further? Or was it very difficult to understand?
No, sir. It is understandable, sir.
Understandable?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Is it clear? Is it too fast? Is space acceptable?
No, sir.
No, no, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You find the concept interesting?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
It's not boring, right?
No, no, it's not boring.
Okay. Vishnuji, you are fine with this, sir? Vishnuji, fine? Okay.
Yes.
Great, sir. Now, let us now come to the next step, what is called as the steps involved. Before I get to talk about the steps involved, the project has something called as a knowledge area, which we spoke of just now, right? What are the knowledge area which I spoke about? Scope, schedule, costing, quality, right? Today, what is our focus? It is going to be only on costing, right? Now, there is something over which you're going to talk about the knowledge area and their execution. You know what is it called? The process group is the above region, or it is the basis with which you're going to talk about the knowledge area. You know what are these process groups called as? Any project, what is the first step? First, it has to be
Planning.
initiated, right?
Planning.
Before do we plan directly?
First, we have to do the feasibility surveying, and before that, we have to...
Excellent. See, you have become champion engineers, man. Very good.
Thank
Okay.
you.
What is the first? Thank you so
Before
much.
that, we have to do need analysis.
After initiating, what should you do? Okay.
First
You have
need
initiated?
analysis, then first need analysis, and then feasibility survey. After that, project financing. If you get the project financing, then we'll start with the project. We'll start with the planning, designing, execution, and later steps.
Okay.
Continue.
You have initiated, you have planned, you have executed. You are now monitoring and controlling. What? Right? This, to remember, it is what you call as there's a very short name to remember this. IPEMC. A small fellow like me will have to remember this like this, right? I am not very knowledgeable like you all. I am doing my best to remember all these things. Initiating is I. P is for planning. E is for execution. M is for monitoring and controlling. C is for closing. Clear? Any questions? This is called as a process group. Now, what we are going to talk about is costing. In this, we are going to see what are the steps of the knowledge area cost management is and are present in the process group of IPEMC. Right? Right? Are you all there? Sure? Okay.
Yes, sir.
What do we do here? I am coming here. In this, what is the first step? When the project is already there, the feasibility analysis there, we have to get started, right? Plan for cost management. I remove this quality now. Is it enough if we just have if we just do planning for the cost management? Okay. I have now estimated the costs. After this, after the estimation, who is going to be providing the money? Management has to provide the money, right?
Yes.
What is their affordability?
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Finally, what do I need to know? I should not run away with the money, right?
Yes.
Is this sequence of activity convenient with you all, or are you expecting something else? Does this not seem to you all like a logical pattern? These are the steps involved in project cost management. You have now covered 25% of what is project costing. Is this not good news to us?
Sir, this only covers if you have the money. It's not covering how you are getting the money. Yes.
I'm coming to that. Just hold on, no? I'm coming to that.
Okay.
I'm coming to that. Hold on, no? So are we all conversant? Are we all now convinced with the steps that we are all engaged in right now?
Yes, sir.
So what is the first step? Plan for cost management.
Yes.
What is the step 2?
Estimate cost involved.
Estimate the cost involved. What's the third step? Determine the cost budgets. And what's the fourth step? Monitor and control the costs. These are the steps involved. We need to remember this while we are executing. Now, let's get into some details about this. You need to understand some theory, understand what the practicalities of the steps are, right? Now, what is this plan for cost management? You need to understand, first step is typically about establishment of the policies, procedures, and the documentation. You go for a loan, will they give you or will the bank approve or sanction the loan just like that? Will they not expect thorough documentation, right?
Yes.
Will there not be scrutiny as to why they are doing all of this?
Yes.
Let us say if you construct a 10 by 10 room also, all these steps will be followed. Nobody is going to give you money away for free, right? That's what is the first step. How much of budgets do I need? Planning for the cost, which establishes the policies, the procedures, the documentation for planning, managing, expending the cost, and controlling the project cost. This is in which knowledge, which is in which process group? Planning process group. Clear? Planning the cost management. Is it clear now?
Yes, sir.
Oh. What is the next step? Estimating the costs. What are the kind of exercises here? By and large, I will not be getting into the details of the session because it's a very, very detailed topic. Nobody in every organization, if you look at it, there will be some person called as a financial controller who will be reporting to the chief financial officer. What is their job, do you think? This is the same work that they will be doing. And it's huge pressure. So if you're going to talk about covering cost management within 1 hour, it is important that we cover the key takeaways over which you expert civil engineers will be able to build a foundation like the Al-Burj. After that, you're on your own, but the foundation needs to be strong, right? That's the whole objective of this session. What is the estimation process? We need to understand what kind of resources is needed. What do you mean by estimation of resources? The resources are of three kinds: manpower, material, machinery, and finances. Manpower, machinery, material. It's also called as the M3 or the M4 factor. This is called as the estimation process. We have planned for the cost management, we estimated the cost. Now, I need to understand what is my overall spending capacity and how much of money is my management going to provide me. Whoever is the sourcing person, how much they are going to provide me, determining the budgeting. Aggregating the overall estimated cost of the individual activities, breaking the bricks, aggregating cement, applying mortar or the putty or whatever you talk about. Each of this is going to be an individual task line item in Excel sheet. You agree with me? Each of these individual tasks. Let us say I'm preparing for construction engineering. First thing is I need to write the entrance. For the entrance test, what am I going to do? I need to see if I can prepare the test for myself, or I need to go for a coaching center. What am I doing? I'm planning for the overall project. And then I see that if I prepare for myself, my overall estimated cost is around, let's say, 100 rupees. But if I go to a coaching center, my cost is going to be 300 rupees. But what are the benefits? I'm gaining access to at least 10 to 12 years question paper previous accesses, with which my overall understanding of the topic is improved. So there is something called as benefit feasibility analysis. So will I sit with 100 or will I go for 300? If I'm getting benefit, even though the topic is going to be, even though the activity is going to cost more, will I go for an expensive activity or will I sit for a less cost activity? Is my question clear?
Can you repeat it, sir?
I will tell you. See, you all want to sit for the NAC entrance test. Okay. The cost of my individual preparation is going to be 100 rupees. But if I go to a coaching center, the cost of this overall preparation is going to be 300 rupees. I'm just giving you very small, easy to assimilate numbers. But when I go to the coaching center, I will be having access to 10 to 12 years of practice test papers and questionnaires with which I'll be able to improve my understanding. Will I stick to 100 rupees or will I go to 300 rupees now?
Go to 300 rupees.
300 rupees. But
Yes.
my overall budget is only 200 rupees. What will I do? What will I do? My budget is only 200 rupees.
Search for the alternative.
Exactly.
Search for the
I will
alternative.
find out who else can backfill that 100 rupees. Who is going to backfill that budget? Who is going to help me fund that remaining gap? That is called as gap analysis from cost management perspective. This is a process of the determining the budget. Now, I have fixed this at 300 rupees. If my overall preparation is going to be 500 rupees, what does it mean? Is my preparation a success or is it a failure? From 300, the cost has gravitated to 500. Is it a success or is it a failure? 300 to 500 increase. Is it a success or is it a failure? Preparation process itself.
We cannot say, sir. We cannot say for sure
If we
because
get
what
the
is the
result
value of the NAP?
positively, then it's success. If we get the result negatively, that is a failure because
Okay.
it all depends upon the result.
Now I'm adding one more criteria. I was told that the cost of preparation, including all the previous years' practice test papers, and a guaranteed pass percentage will be only 300, but we have spent 500. Is it now a success or is it a failure? Actually speaking, it is a failure because we have spent more than what is actually intended to be. Everything is going to be budgeted within 300 rupees. But I have overspent. What does it mean? I did not know how to control the overall expenses. In other words, the aspect of monitoring and controlling is coming very closely observant as a process here. This is where we need to be really closely monitoring how we are performing on a project. Now, instead of 300 rupees, I have spent only 350 rupees here. How successful is my project? Earlier, I spent 500 rupees. Now I have spent 300 rupees, 350 rupees. Which is more successful? Is it the project? Is it the preparation process which is 500 rupees in expense, or which is the where it is 350 rupees in
Both are a
expense?
failure, sir.
Both are failure. But then we need to understand where is a larger margin of error. Which has got a larger bandwidth? Is it 500 or this 350?
500 is more, obviously.
500 is more, right? 500 is more. It is 300. My 500 minus 300 is 200 units. 200 rupees gone. But 350 is 350 minus 300, which is 50. So you have overspent by 50 rupees. Definitely 50 is less than 200. How many projects have you seen where they say it is 300 and they have spent only 300? Have you ever seen any project like that?
Yes, sir.
Ever have you seen such a project in life?
I have seen,
No.
sir. In government projects, they will say that it's a fixed. Then
I need to meet you in person now. I need to meet you in person now. In my minimum experience, I've seen if you fix a number, it is either going to be above the number or more above the number. If you are going to fix within that number, then it is a completely planned process and it's going to be a case study for extreme success. Such projects are very rare to work with. Correct me if I'm wrong, friends.
Sir, if
You are
you
absolutely correct, sir. You are absolutely correct. Why? Because if you select a number, for example, if you tell 100 rupees for a project, it will go for up only 150 rupees. Why? Because there will be many things in that. So it is correct, sir, actually.
Exactly. I'm coming to this concept called as life cycle, where we are going to understand how these numbers are coming into picture. Supposing you know exactly what needs to be delivered in front of the project. Are the requirements clear or is it unclear? Everything is clear. Is there the element of uncertainty? Is the requirement going to change if you clearly know what needs to be done? A 10 by 10 closed room. Is there any element of change that you're anticipating? Ten by 10 room. Is there going to be any change? Much of a change? Are you anticipating much change? Or let us say 100 by 100.
If it's ideal, we don't expect a change. But if it is not ideal,
Exactly.
there will be change.
Exactly. That approach is what you call as a predictive approach. In IT, it is what is called as waterfall, where everything is reasonably clear. The requirements are practically fixed. They don't change. What is the goal of such a project? It is to manage the cost spending. You understand? That is where the cost spending becomes extremely important. Now, I will not talk about iterative or incremental. We'll come straight to Ajay. When the requirements are frequently changing, and if you are seeing that the process has to be repeated until the outcome is correct, what happens? Customer feedback is getting incorporated every now and then, and you are going to deliver within smaller chunks of value. Okay. So in other words, requirements are not fixed. Requirement changes are dynamic. When you're building within smaller changes, is there any requirement for me to manage the cost in such a situation? Is there any requirement for me to manage a cost in an agile initiative?
Yes, sir. You have to control the cost.
The requirements are small. I'm delivering within smaller deliveries. See, if the requirements are fixed, my prime focus is to manage the cost. But if my requirements are dynamic and I'm delivering within smaller deliveries, is there any strong reason for me to manage cost?
It depends on the ABC analysis, sir. When you do ABC analysis, depending on the in what range it feels cost is falling, depends on that you have to.
Coming to that.
Yes, based on that you have to follow it.
Excellent, excellent. Now that's what I was trying to tell you. When you're doing an ABC analysis, and I've seen that my customer says within 1 or 2 week iteration, I do not want this change to be incorporated. Drop this change. What is my cost factor there? Is it going to be high or is it going to be low? The customer does not want the change to be incorporated within 1 or 2 weeks. Is the cost change going to be high or cost change going to be low? Within 1 week. Within 1 week,
it's costly. The cost will hike if you are reducing the time generally, but depends on the project.
That's why I've asked you if I'm delivering within 1 week and my customer says I do not want this to be incorporated, is the cost going to be high or is it going to be low within 1 week? I repeat, it's within 1 week. One week is 7 days. Okay. Now I'm just going to rephrase the question. I'm doing a work for 3 or 6 months. The customer says I do not want this work, jump this work. Is the cost change going to be high within 6 months or is the cost change going to be high within 1 week?
Six months, sir.
Cost
6 months is going to be more expensive. You agree with me?
Yeah, yes, sir.
You all agree with me?
Depend on the S curve, sir. If you see that.
No, don't go there. I'm not going there at all. I do not want you to go there. I'm only asking simple mathematics. 1 week I've delivered some work. The customer says I do not want this work. Okay, I've done the work for 6 months. Customer says I don't want this work. Which is going to be expensive? One which you have delivered within 6 months or one which you have delivered within 1 week?
One which is delivered in the 6 months because it's rework you have to do if you ask.
Exactly.
Otherwise,
Okay. Now, I'm delivering some work after 9 or 10 months. The customer says, go to hell. I will not pay you a penny. Is it going to be cheap or is it going to burn the organization?
It's a very big blow for the organization if it's a project is.
It's a death blow for an organization. That's where this concept of incremental deliveries have come into picture. I deliver. So that is how internal assessments and external assessments are come into picture. Internal assessment is specifically given to help you understand where you are at that point in time. You adapt, change to your education process and then alter it so that a final outcome at the end of the first semester is going to be a pass mark or a success mark. Now, if I'm ignoring my internal assessment, what is the likelihood that my final examination is going to be a success? Is it going to be low or high?
Low,
I'm
sir.
ignoring my internal assessments.
Low, sir.
You agree?
Yes,
you
sir.
agree
Low.
with me? Right? Now let us come here. Read these statements. I want you to assess this. Project is managing costs very well. Does it imply that it's fully on schedule?
No, sir.
Okay. Project is managing the schedule very well. Does it imply that the costs have no overrun?
No, sir.
Project C is managing the costs and the schedule very well. Does it imply that the scope of work is fully balanced?
No, sir.
You agree? So both A, B, and C by themselves are not fully indicative of what the fate of the project is. Then let me welcome to you all to something very, very difficult called as variances. Before I get into variances, let us try to understand two terms. What is a planned value? The authorized budget for the completion of the project at a phase. Phase 1, phase 2, phase 3. The end of all the phases, you get a deliverable, right? complete deliverable. The budget at completion, BAC, is what is called as the planned value. Okay. Now, this is indicative of the total fund apportion for the project. Fine. What is this actual cost? I have been apportioned. You remember, I spoke to you. We initially fixed my education cost at 100 rupees, but then it went to 300 rupees, and from 300 rupees it went to 500 rupees. The second attempt went to 350 rupees. Is there practically any upper limit for 300 to go to 500 or 350? Is there any upper limit? Is there an upper limit for the spending of the project? You planned for 300 rupees, man, but it has gone till 1,000. The second instance got to the 2,000 rupees. Does it now have any upper limit? Can you fix the upper limit of this project?
The upper limit are already fixed, sir.
That is a
We can
planned
have
value.
1.5 factor of safety, sir, but we cannot expect too much.
Exactly. That what you're talking about, 300 is a planned value. It's not the actual cost.
Yeah.
The actual costs have no fixed factor. But
Yeah.
if you say that 300 is a planned value, then if that's how we are projecting funding, then we are all champions, man. Actual cost will never be representative of the planned value. There's a gross error in the estimation.
Yeah.
How well we are controlling costs is a success factor of the project. I'm going to talk about that. Now, let us see what these variances are. What is cost variance? Very difficult formula, right? Earned value minus the actual costs. What is the schedule variance? Earned value minus the planned value. Very difficult formula. Okay. From CV and SV, is there any means by which I know if my project is over cost, on cost, and under cost, and behind schedule, on schedule, or ahead schedule? By the way, am I running too fast now, or is it at planned speed?
It's okay, sir. Continue.
Am I at speed? You are all accepting the pace at which we are proceeding?
Yes.
It's not boring, right?
Yeah, it's not good.
Okay. Now, just because I'm getting earned value cost variance as positive, does it mean to say that I have saved money? And schedule variance as positive, does it mean to say that the project is well ahead of schedule? We need to know qualitatively the index factor. That is where we talk about something called as cost performance index and schedule performance index. This is a ratio, whereas a variance is an absolute value, absolute number, 10 units. Cost performance index and schedule performance index are measured from a range of 0 through 1. Okay. Schedule performance index is a ratio measured from 0 through 1. What is the interpretation? We will see that here. If the actual cost is greater than the earned value, if the actual cost is equal to the earned value, actual cost is lesser than the earned value. Please remember this, guys, greater than, equal to, less than. Okay. And cost variance, if it is greater than, then this has to be less than. Cost variance is less than 0. Cost performance index is less than 1. It is over cost. Do your calculation. You will know why it is. Please take a screenshot of this table. This will help you. And if the cost variance is equal to 0, cost performance index is equal to 1, the project is on cost. Okay. If cost variance is greater than 0, CPI is greater than 1, it is under cost. Now, let me translate this to schedule. The planned value is greater than the earned value. Planned value is equal to the earned value and lesser than the earned value. Then schedule variance is less than 0. Schedule performance index is less than 1. It is behind schedule, on schedule, and ahead of schedule. This interpretation table will save your day whichever examination you are writing. This is a master reference data. You do your problem statements and refer with this table. You will see that any problems regarding cost variances, schedule variances will click. This is what you call as a master table. Please make a note of this table. Okay. Now, let's come to the last topic here. Earning value. Earning schedule.
Sir, can you show me the previous table, previous slide?
Yes.
Not this one, previous. Those formulas.
These are all what you would have covered as a part of your costing process, right? I'm covering the 101 of cost management, friends.
Okay. Okay.
I'm not gone into any details at all. I will not be talking about S-curve today. It's a very detailed topic. What is earned value? Let us say what is your total number of years for study at MASC? 3 years or 4 years?
1 year. Sir.
1 year?
Yeah, 1 year.
At the end of
Only
1
1
year,
year.
what are you? Only 1 year. At the end of 1 year, what are you given?
What exactly is given is just a certificate, sir. Other than that, our knowledge.
Knowledge. Okay. This is what you call as direct value and indirect value. The value of the work that you have got at the end of the overall timeline delivered is what you call as earned value. Let us say, if I earned my project within 1 year, I have met my schedule. I have met my costs. Okay. But the other corollary is, just because I'm meeting the cost does not mean to say that I am ahead of schedule. I can definitely be behind schedule. You're all in agreement with me, right? That master table will always help you in hour of need. Please remember the table every time. Okay. Now I'll come to the second part of the question. Let us say you're doing so good that JNTU and the management feel that you're such a good candidate. Instead of giving you within 1 year, we will give you within 6 months. Okay. How much of time have you actually saved?
6 months.
6 months? 50-50, right?
50%.
Yes.
Yes.
Your earned schedule is nothing but a schedule saved. Practically speaking, in project management and execution, they say schedule is money. Schedule is time and time is money. I will go a step ahead and say schedule is life. You can actually earn money. Can you earn life? Is it possible? Schedule as good as life itself. So earned value is nothing but the worth of the value that we have delivered. And earned schedule is nothing but the time or the schedule which we have saved in the execution of the process. Okay. So let us quickly reiterate whatever we have learned over the past 60 minutes of our timeline. I'm coming to the first slide here. We have covered what is project costing. We have seen what are the types of project costing, what are the steps involved in project costing, and then we have seen comparison of project costing with scheduling, and we have seen what is earned value measurement as an overview with earned schedule. Okay, with this, I will go ahead and I will say I have done my session. Vishnuji, I'm done. Yes. We have completed our presentation well within schedule.
Yeah.
2 minutes. Now it is 1 minute of schedule.
Thanks, Seshadri, and thanks, friends, for participating. I'm sure all of you found it very interesting, and from next week onward, the participation will further increase because we had a very good start with the help of an eminent speaker. Any questions and questions? Now it is Q&A session. Any questions, please ask him.
Hello.
Yes, sir. Please tell me.
Yes, I want to talk to you about when to ask for help and when to do the closure. If
there are any specific questions which you are going to cover beyond what we have covered, please drop a note to our Academy L&D head and director, Vishnuji. He will consolidate the questions and I will share the answers to you.
No, it's regarding the session itself. You told an example, right? When you are preparing for an exam and your cost shoots up to 500, and when to stop and when to ask for help.
Good question. Good question. When your finance says halt the project, I am done with this project, I will not spend even a 50 paisa to you, stop the project. The completion of, let us say, a completion of a person is working on an education, learning some degree. He has to complete this within 2 years. He has taken 3 years, 4 years, 6 years, 8 years, 10, 12, 14, 15, 20 years, 24 years, and still he has not completed. Is there any worth in pursuing any further?
No, sir.
That's all. You need to arrive at a suitable conclusion to say when I'm going to halt a project. That is decided by the management. I told you, right? Management decides the KPIs and the baselines. They know when to halt.
Yes, sir. But if you want to put it in the form of a numbers to show in an Excel sheet or what like that, how should we approach?
See here, we need to showcase what are the benefits that we have got because we have extended the cost by, let us say, 1,000 or 10,000 more than what we have actually spent. But the benefit realization is less and the cost spending is more. Then it means to say that it's time to say thank you to the project itself. What are the benefits that you realize? If the benefits are equivalent to the cost spent, then there is some point in execution. If the benefits are less and the project spending alone is more, then what do? If I'm talking about benefit, then it's also about the earned value outcomes. Is it clear, my friend?
A little bit. It's still confusing.
Don't worry, think through this. If you're seeing that the measured outcomes of the project are more positive and the spending is in line with that direction, you can spend. But the outcomes are nil. You don't get any outcome at all. You're constantly spending money. Do you want to end up in a sunk cost situation?
No, sir.
That's all. That answers your question.
Sir, but there will be methodologies, right? For example, if you are taking a equity or you are taking money from the bank loans and you show that the project itself is a failure and they will convert it. They will convert the loan.
That is something what we have
loan
not
shares
covered
and
in
sell
this
them
session.
out.
This is something what we have not covered in this session.
Okay.
If you have any specific questions, please drop a note to Mr. Vishnu. I will arrange to answer these questions sometime. This is whatever is covered in the session, I will tell you. But how do we realize the converted portion of the project? All of that is not in the scope of the discussion. I'll answer you after you share the question. Okay?
Okay.
You post the question to me by WhatsApp or email, Mr. Prem. I will get the answers for you.
Okay.
Fair enough, Vishnuji.
Yes. Anybody has any other question or shall we conclude? Hello?
No, sir. Thank you.
Okay. Murali, sir, any comments?
I hope you liked the session. I hope I was not too fast in the session.
Not at all.
Hello, sir. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Oh,
Can you hear me, sir?
Yes,
I am
sir.
listening to you, sir. Please tell me, sir.
Yeah. Thank you very much. Such a short and excellent presentation. I think a lot of doubts the students, I think, whoever are clarified. And on behalf of NAC, once again, thank PMI, sir, for arranging
Thank
such
you
a.
so much. You gave me an opportunity to showcase whatever little I know in this topic. To the best of my capability, I try to deliver this.